Hi and welcome. I'm Michaela and this is officially my second video on academic stuff. So right now I have makeup on and my hair is straight. This is not the typical look, but I just came back from prom and I got changed so that I can film. So yeah, that's what's happening tonight. That's also why I'm filming at nighttime and I have this horrible artificial lighting, but it's all good because I have homework to do tomorrow. Anyway, if you're here, then you probably have some sort of test coming up. And I bet you're probably looking for some miracle way to memorize all the information that you need to know. I made some tips and stuff that I thought of and tried to arrange it in an order that made the most sense. Of course, you don't have to keep it in that order, you can bounce around, all that jazz. To make the information even more condensed, I arranged it into an acronym, RCAEP. And to make things even easier, I tried to come up with a catchy slogan to come with it. Raisin cookies are extremely pointless. RCAEP, that's the best I could come up with. So if you can come up with better, then definitely use that. But if raisin cookies are extremely pointless sticks with you, then go for it. So I guess I'll go over what each part stands for. The first part is R. This stands for review. So basically this part is to just conquer all of the material that your teacher has given you. This is the studying point at which you should make sure you understand anything that your teacher has given you. Whether it's a worksheet or a chapter out of your textbook that you have to read or a video, just make sure whatever your teacher has given you to work on that pertains to the upcoming test, make sure that you understand it and review it. You don't have to memorize it just yet, but now's the time right now to make sure that you at least get what the material is on, even if you're not completely ready for the test. Even go through and just rewrite what the material is. You can do it in the bubble bath, in bed, whatever. Just review the information, rewrite it, say it out loud as you read it. And this is just all part of review, just to make sure that you completely get the material. The second part of RCAEP is C, which stands for consult, which basically means now that you've gone through all of the resources that your teacher has given you and you understand all of it, now you should go and find other sources. So that way you're kind of expanding your base of knowledge and you're making sure that you're completely ready for the test. One of the things that I have learned throughout my 11 years of school is that teachers absolutely love to put things on tests that are not in the study guides, which is incredibly annoying, but happens all of the time. So the best way to prepare for these very annoying questions is to reference other sources. This is especially important if you're not doing a multiple choice test, because if you have written answers, it's really hard to elaborate if your knowledge of the subject is very narrow and limited. A couple of websites that you can use to study. The first is Quizlet, which you've probably heard of, but in case you haven't, I will explain it. It's basically online flashcards that you can use. You can make them or you can search them, because there's basically a Quizlet for every subject existing on the planet. And it's really easy to just flip through the cards and make sure that you understand the questions or the terms or whatever is on there. The only thing to keep in mind about Quizlet, though, is that Quizlets can be made by anyone, like Wikipedia. So, I mean, most of the information should be fine, but just keep in mind that it's not made by a professional. The second website is Khan Academy. Again, a lot of people know this only for its math, but Khan Academy actually has a lot of other courses, such as for AP US History. I used this last year, which was incredibly helpful. And it has very good in-depth explanations of these subjects. So if you're preparing for a test, definitely check out Quizlet and Khan Academy to see if you can get some extra information that could be useful for you to know. Also, honestly, just use YouTube, because there's so many videos out there that people have made. It's insane, and there's probably going to be a video about your topic that you're going to be tested on. Lastly, if you have a ton of time before your test, like 2 weeks, and if you just have time to kill, like if you're at home and you're like, well, I've studied every way I possibly can, I have nothing to do, then go to the library or like watch a documentary on Netflix about your test, because if you have time to kill and you want to still study, then those are more time-consuming methods, but they also work well. So number 3, raisin cookies are extremely pointless. So part 3 is A, which is annotate. Annotation is basically taking notes and making your own commentary on all of your sources. So by now you have information from the sources that your teacher's given you, and hopefully you've consulted some other sources like like I said, Khan or Quizlet or basically anything else, just to expand your understanding of what's going to be on the test. Now, annotation is taking those sources that you have and putting your own commentary on them. So you could print them out or take notes, but honestly just making your own inferences and connections for deeper analyses. Again, this is really, more helpful if you're doing written responses and not multiple choice, but it's good to kind of get your own perspective in there, especially if you're in a higher level class. They like to see some of that critical thinking. This sounds like a lot of extra work, and it is, but if you go through and take the time to do it, then you will be much better prepared because you'll have your own thoughts consolidated in your head and written down. So that's why annotation can be really helpful if you're willing to do all of that extra painful work. The fourth part, E, is to explain. So basically, that's exactly what it sounds like. If you take the time to explain to another person or to yourself what's going to be on your test, and you'll have a much better understanding of where you're at. You can take the time to talk to your mom or your dad or your younger sibling, go through and explain to them what you're going to be tested on, because not only is this good for you to review what you're talking about again, but also if you stumble over a couple of parts, then you know where you need to go back and review some more. You can also review just to yourself, and talking out loud just reaffirms it in your memory. It's just another good way to memorize information, so this is always good before a test. The last tip, RCAEP, raisin cookies are extremely pointless. P, which is to practice. So if you go into Google, search your test. So let's say it's on the Spanish-American War, type in Spanish-American War quiz, and I guarantee you that things will pop up. And I strongly recommend taking a lot of these quizzes because it's just going to better prepare you. Maybe there'll be questions concerning information that you hadn't thought of studying, so that's always helpful. If you go online and there are very limited quizzes, or maybe they're of low quality, then you can also just make your own quizzes with a classmate or friend and question one another about what's going to be on the test. This forces you to think on the spot, and again brings up knowledge that you might not have thought to have covered on your own while studying. So this is always, practicing is just always a really good way to confirm that you really, really know the material inside and out. So to recap, it's RCAEP. Raisin cookies are extremely pointless, and this is basically just a guide for you to start with or to use whenever you have a test coming up and you're not really sure where to start studying or how to start studying. This is kind of just a good method to make sure you've covered all the bases. Again, like I said, you're probably watching this video because you have a test coming up, so if you do, best of luck. Hope you do really well, and I hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch my other video because this is my second, so watch my first video, which is homework tips. And please subscribe and like if you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.